Well, like I was saying, basically the original creators, the original staff behind the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise, they basically started doing things that they weren't too happy about. I think they were making deals with like Funimation, and it just didn't really sit well with the original crew, the original creators, the founding fathers, the founding team, if you will, of Yu-Gi-Oh. It didn't really sit well with them. So they basically said, "Hey, 4 kids, you want to pull this crap? Guess what? You're not going to have Yu-Gi-Oh anymore." And this basically is not even 15 years into basically the initial run that really helped put Yu-Gi-Oh on the map. And to me, that is something that I think if you're going to be a company and you're going to gain the licensing rights to a series like Yu-Gi-Oh, if you will, then you need to basically gain the licensing rights and do what's right. Don't do anything sneaky or anything like that. Stick to the agreement. And as I was saying towards the end of part one, I think maybe one of the reasons they finally had enough with 4 kids was the fact that 4 kids not only edited and altered and cut out scenes that even they may feel, hey, there's nothing really wrong with that. Why'd you change it, or why'd you cut it out, or why'd you alter it or edited it? I think basically them hearing and finding out that they also changed storylines around a little bit in during certain seasons, and it really ticked them off. And I don't think it stopped with the Yu-Gi-Oh with the original Yu-Gi-Oh run on 4 kids, but it also continued on with like GX and 5Ds and what is it, Zexal, and I'm guessing stuff like that. It just really continued on with those, and they weren't too happy about it. So what did they do? They took, and that's just my opinion. I think that might have been one of the reasons they took the licensing away from 4 kids and basically gave it to Nickelodeon. Said, here, air Yu-Gi-Oh. So yeah, I'm guessing that's one of the reasons, in my opinion. Not just like the behind the scenes dealings they were making with Funimation and other companies, but also the fact that they were editing and cutting out and altering things that maybe people in Japan could understand. Okay, yeah, we get on your end of the pond in your atmosphere or hemisphere. We can understand certain things that we have or put in these episodes are not going to be allowed. But really, you took some of this out or alter some of this. That doesn't make sense. And then, of course, like I said, if in my opinion, if they're going to also if they find, and again, like I said, in my opinion, if they found out that they also altered storylines around and changed it to what from what it originally was. I'm sorry, the phone just rang there. Landstar Finance. I don't know who that is. Unless that's the Cancer Society that's picking up the donations. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm sorry for the interruption there. Like I was saying, you know, in my opinion, I think, you know, they might have just had enough with all the altering and editing and stuff, especially the story arcs and everything that maybe they felt weren't necessarily needed to be altered or edited. So, but again, that's just my opinion, and maybe by finding that out as well, that they just had enough, you know. But um, but even with that, Yu-Gi-Oh is still massively popular. I'm still a fan. I have a DS game and a GBA game on Yu-Gi-Oh. I have a Yu-Gi-Oh game downloaded on my Xbox Live Arcade. I have a demo version, maybe going to download the full version as well. I mean, I just like it. I really do because it's interesting. The game itself is fun, and even if you don't play it as much, you still kind of learn exactly how certain things go and stuff. And sometimes it's always nice to have a deck set and ready to go just in case. If you ever get in the mood to duel a friend or something like that. But again, like I said, it's still widely popular. I mean, look what I bought here back when I was in Kansas. I bought this. So again, it's still very widely popular, still big financial success for the original creators and the original company behind them in Japan. So with that all said, and them now with a new distributor like 4K Media Incorporated and Cineditch and Flatron Films, what could be better for Yu-Gi-Oh celebrating near 20 years overall, as well as celebrating 15 initial years on the map all over the world? What could you do to celebrate that? What could you do? How much more can you do for a franchise that's really just gone beyond your expectations? How about the fact that I just found out that they are going to be doing, and I think I mentioned this in part one, maybe not, but they are going to be doing a 20th anniversary Yu-Gi-Oh movie in 2016. How about that? 20-year anniversary. 20-year anniversary. And just really amazing to know that that is happening and to know that we are going to get something. Now, from what I understand, it's going to be an original story. It's supposed to take place, I guess, in between. Uh, I'm guessing it takes place in between the final season of the original Yu-Gi-Oh and GX. Because according to the synopsis in I think one of the magazines, I think it was Shonen Jump or something like that, basically Atem Yami, if you will, is still part of is still united with Yugi. So again, depending on how you look at the timeline, it's probably going to take place in between both, unless they got the synopsis uh, uh, misread or misheard. Because a lot of people, one thing a lot of people point out with the preview, with the teaser trailer to it, is there's no Millennium Puzzle on Yu-Gi-Oh's net. So there's that, and then of course Kaiba doesn't have his card, his little USB dual card on his neck either. So, like I said, to me, it's got to take place between the end of the final season and going into GX. That's what I can assume. I'm thinking this is going to be like the ultimate finale for the original Yu-Gi-Oh run, the initial Yu-Gi-Oh run. Like I said, that really took off around the world. That's what I'm assuming, and it's probably going to be the final time, continuity rise chronologically, that we're going to see Joey, Taya, Serenity, Tristan, Mai. I think it's going to be Rebecca. I think it's the last time we're going to see a lot of these characters, because I think this is going to be. I believe this is what we're going to get. We're going to get, like I said, a proper finale, and it's going to be the end of, and the characters are all going to probably, it's going to probably be like the senior year or something like that, and they're all going to finally graduate and go their separate ways or something. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. But that's just my opinion on it. I know 4Kid Media is looking forward to distributing it here, maybe in the States. The only thing is finding a movie distributor to do it with. Do you stick with Warner Brothers like you did with the first movie, or do you go with somebody else? You see, that's going to be the major question. But that's just my opinion, what I feel is going to happen. I mean, this is what we got for an anniversary movie last time. What will we get this time? See, that's the ultimate question. And again, I just gave my opinion on it. You know, and in closing, I know some people are going to want me to discuss the season zero, if you will. Season zero. Season zero, which is what the Magna, which I have the first two volumes of, is based out of, as well as I think the first few episodes of the initial run when it first started in Japan, the series that came afterwards in 2000, and then we got about a year or two later. Um, to me, season zero, I think I look at it like this. I think 4Kids, when they got the licensing to do Yu-Gi-Oh, to bring Yu-Gi-Oh over, they could have brought season zero over to give us a taste of what we were going to get. They could have done that. But I think whoever was working and in charge of the bringing over of gaining the license for Yu-Gi-Oh, they probably saw how violent and how dark it was, if not sometimes how violent it could be, and they decided, you know what, we're going to be editing a lot of these animes to cut out certain things or alter certain things. This is going to end up being a mess, and fans ain't going to like it. So they probably looked at the other one and said, let's take that one instead. And the rest is history. And sometimes it is always about taking the more recent one as well, so because it's very recent and it's still kind of new and fresh to people. But I think when they saw season zero, they could have taken it, but I think they realized they probably would have had more of a mess editing that than they would with Yu-Gi-Oh, the Yu-Gi-Oh that was put that than the initial Yu-Gi-Oh series that was put on the map. And but season zero I think is an interesting experiment because it kind of gave you a taste of what you were going to get, and it also kind of let you know that this was not really a show or a franchise meant for kids, so or even books that are meant for kids. So, I mean, the demographic is actually teenagers that they were going after. Go figure. Uh, and as far as 4Kids releasing the uncut, unedited versions with the English cast on DVD when the series first became a hit here in the States, I think honestly 4Kids should have stuck with that. I really do. I think they should have. I think they should have stuck with that because to me that would have been a huge hit for them. But I'm not really sure what happened. I don't know if it became too inexpensive for them. But money wise or not, I mean, if they could afford to do a few DVD uncut versions of the show with the English cast, which I used to own anyway, I think they could have continued it on. And you know what? I know fans would have enjoyed it and fans would have demanded more. But again, I don't know what happened. But come on, if a company like Synergy and 4K Media can do the English and Japanese versions and place them both on here, I think 4Kids could have done the same thing as well. So, but that's just my take on it. Overall, Yu-Gi-Oh is a great franchise, and I wish it all the best in its 20 years it's been around, and its initial 15 years that it's been on the map here around the world, and mostly here in the States. So, let me know what you guys' fond memories of Yu-Gi-Oh are, and tell me what you think about the new movie coming, and I'll talk to y'all later.